94% of the trials and suppressants found them to be beneficial. From the FDA's perspective, only 38 of 74, or 51% of the trials, found them to be beneficial. That's a huge discrepancy, and it's easy to imagine how this adversely impacts a doctor's decision to recommend antidepressants to their patients. The third major contributor to false published results is often called random error, but I think this is a misleading term for it. I prefer statistically predictable error. The foundation of clinical research is statistics, and statistics are inherently probabilistic. If we are studying the effect of a certain drug on a disease, we can never say the drug definitely does or does not have a positive impact. The most we can, or at least should ever say, is the probability that the drug has an impact, or the probability that its effect is within a certain range. So naturally, sometimes research will appear wrong, not because someone made a mistake, but rather because a statistically unlikely event happens to have occurred. There are standard cutoffs in clinical research as to how different the outcomes between two groups need to be in order to say that it is unlikely to be due to chance alone. By a large margin, the most common quantification of probability in research is something called the p-value, and a cutoff of a p-value less than 0.05 in clinical medicine is considered to be statistically significant. What the p-value does and doesn't represent is really confusing, and in the interest of time, I'm going to greatly simplify the explanation by just stating that the smaller the p-value, the less likely the results of the study were from chance alone. The cutoff of 0.05 is frequently used to categorize studies. Studies whose relationships with p-values below 0.05 are called positive, and those above 0.05 are called negative. Implied in this dichotomy is that a positive trial of a new drug suggests the drug works, while a negative trial of a new drug suggests it doesn't work. Unfortunately, there are tons of problems with the application of p-values. First, and most obviously, the cutoff of 0.05 is completely arbitrary. If an intervention is studied and found to provide an outcome benefit with a p-value of 0.045, it's not dramatically more believable than if you observe the benefit at a p-value of 0.055. Another problem with p-values is that researchers are so focused on them, largely because they know their potential future readers feel most comfortable with them, that they neglect other statistical tests which may actually be more appropriate for their particular question or type of data. However, the most fundamental problem with how clinical medicine uses p-values is that it reduces a continuous distribution of probabilities to a positive versus negative dichotomy. This results in physicians unequivocally accepting or rejecting trials whose results are much more nuanced. Most physicians are familiar with this relationship. The odds of disease being present after a test has been performed is equal to the odds of its presence before the test, multiplied by the likelihood ratio from the test. In other words, a so-called positive test result doesn't necessarily mean that the person has the corresponding disease, because it also depends on how probable the patient was to have the disease to begin with. An analogous relationship exists for interpreting studies. The probability that a statistically significant result demonstrates a true effect is dependent upon not just the statistical strength of the findings, but also upon the probability that the effect was true prior to the study. Or in the words of Carl Sagan, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If we reduce trials to just being positive or negative on the basis of p-values, we lose our ability to apply this reasoning. All this goes back to the probabilistic nature of clinical research. Sometimes when there is no true effect of an intervention, the data will look like there is. And when there is a true effect, sometimes the data will look like there's not. It doesn't necessarily mean that the investigators made a mistake, but they can still lead them and us to the wrong conclusion. And no matter how well designed the study is, statistically predictable error cannot be fully eliminated. The fourth and final contributor to false research findings is conflicts of interest. We like to think that science is always objective, and that scientists' one and only goal is the pursuit of truth, free from other influences. But unfortunately, that is not reality. Many factors get in the way of that pursuit of objective truth. Some factors are conscious and some are not. Some factors are innocent and some are not. Scientists and clinical researchers are under a lot of pressure. They feel internal pressure from an inherent desire to make discoveries and grow their reputation, and they feel external pressure from their institutions to publish papers and bring positive publicity and national recognition. This will be used as justification for their academic promotions. They also feel external pressure to publish because their success at being awarded grant money to continue the research is largely dependent upon prior success at getting papers out to the world. There's a saying in academia, publish or perish. Research productivity is seen as synonymous with the number of papers published. Unfortunately, this leads to terrible incentives. Positive trials are more likely to be published than negative ones, and replications are rarely published. And the more eye-catching or unexpected the conclusion, the more likely the study will be published. And therefore, the consequences of how these conflicts of interest and these features of publication bias interact are entirely predictable. First, few researchers perform replication studies, leaving many of our common medical practices to be based on a single study, which might unknowingly claim false conclusions due to various forms of bias and statistically predictable error. Second, researchers are incentivized to preferentially design their studies and data analysis in such a way as to maximize the chance of a positive result. This results in a practice called data dredging, with a catchy term of outcomes examined, greater the chance that statistically predictable error will result in something appearing to be statistically significant, even if it's not a true effect. Another form of cookie hacking is to not define your sample size at the outset, and instead collect data just until the results happen to dip below that magical p-0.05 cutoff. When the data collection was continued, the p-values can easily rise up higher again. One very common practice, which spans the boundary between p-hacking and legitimate science, is called post hoc analysis, in which a hypothesis is generated and tested after data has been collected. The scientifically valid approach to post hoc analysis would be to use such an after-the-fact hypothesis as the basis of a new experiment. After all, creating new hypotheses based on new observations is an essential step of the scientific method. Unfortunately, in practice, many clinicians take the post hoc analysis as a definitive answer to a clinical question, and many are never subjected to new experiments. And we have no idea how many hypotheses the researchers examined after the experiment was completed before finding one that fit the data for them to include in the paper. Regarding the need to uncover unexpected conclusions in order to be published in more prestigious journals, this incentivizes some researchers to preferentially explore novel or paradigm-shifting hypotheses, which are less likely to be true, even if the evidence appears to show otherwise. And media attention is a non-negligible factor. I could create an entire video series on the role of mass media in promoting bad science. It's incredible how bad newspapers and television networks are at reporting health news. On any given day, you can scroll through the health section of your favorite news website and find articles reporting on new studies. This obviously creates publicity for the authors and for the institutions, and creates ad revenue for the media companies from user clicks. But almost all the studies reported in mass media are garbage. They are small, p-hacked, and tested unbelievable, out-of-the-mainstream hypotheses. Any doctor with experience in evidence-based medicine can very quickly recognize these studies as the trashy clickbait that they are. Unfortunately, news companies, they don't have EPM-experienced doctors on their payrolls, and journalists' knowledge of the methods and conclusions of the studies are often based just on press releases rather than the actual journal articles. Now, the most reputable scientists are not looking to have their research discussed in Oprah magazine or on doctors, but there's actually not a clear black and white distinction between those who are excited to see themselves quoted on MedNews Today and those who are excited to be interviewed on the Today Show. Media publicity of all forms influences how clinicians present data and even how they choose which clinical questions to ask. So far, these conflicts of interest have focused on the interests of academic researchers, but there are less savory conflicts of interest out there, namely the financial incentives of the pharmaceutical and medical device industries. Drug companies in particular may literally have billions of dollars riding on the outcome of a single study. That is a lot of incentive to be sure that your study shows a favorable outcome. How do they do this when the FDA does have oversight over any clinical trial that a company plans to use in an application for drug approval? First, a trial protocol may be ghostwritten by employees of a pharmaceutical company and not the published trial's official academically affiliated authors. That's not to say that the protocol isn't being accurately reported to the FDA or within the final paper, but the company will be more knowledgeable of the tricks of how to design protocols to maximize the probability of a positive result. Second, the pharmaceutical industry does the minimum necessary that's required for FDA approval and no more. If the FDA will be satisfied by a trial that tests a drug for a very specific indication in a carefully selected population with many exclusion criteria, why would a company ever fund a trial with broader indications in a population more representative of real life? Doing so would only decrease the chance of a positive result, and even if still positive, it would decrease the size of the measured effect, which of course hurts the bottom line. Third, drug and device companies are under no obligation to pursue publication of the trials they conduct. While the results of any trial registered with the FDA must be released to the FDA, as discussed earlier with the Answer Press's paper, companies can strongly encourage their authors to not submit a negative trial to a medical journal. The FDA doesn't get fooled by this because they have all the information, but typical practicing doctors and the public certainly do get fooled. Drug and device companies can also choose to delay the publication of either positive or negative results until the time that's most financially beneficial. I don't mean to unfairly demonize industry. After all, without industry, you would have many fewer innovations. These companies play a critical role in furthering medical science. However, profit is what they care about most, not a timely and responsible search for objective truth. So I've talked about how systematic bias, publication bias, statistically predictable error, and conflicts of interest all individually contribute to the phenomenon of most published medical research being wrong. So let's take a look at how they interact synergistically. To do this, I'll need to construct some 2x2 tables. We'll be looking at whether a hypothesis is true or false against whether a clinical trial testing that hypothesis was a so-called positive trial or negative one. Let's take a collection of 1,000 hypothetical, well-designed, randomized controlled trials, and additionally just consider statistically predictable error. That's it to begin with. And let's say that these trials are testing hypotheses which are 20% likely to be correct. That may not sound that high, but it's a typical rough estimate used in the discussion of clinical research as a goal to shoot for. So those 1,000 hypothetical trials, we have 200 trials whose hypothesis is true, and 800 whose hypothesis is false. Of course, we have no way of knowing for sure, either before before or after the trials are performed, which specific hypothesis falls into which category. Now let's look at the percentage of each of those sets of trials that will meet our preset thresholds for declaring the study to be positive or negative. By convention, the goal of trials is for them to be designed such that there is no more than a 20% chance that a beneficial therapy will not be recognized as such. In other words, this value here, the number of true hypotheses that have a negative trial, should be 20% of the total number of true hypotheses. So if 200 true hypotheses are subjected to a clinical trial, 160 of those trials will result in a true positive finding, while 40 of them will result in a false negative finding. Now let's look at the 800 false hypotheses. By setting a p-value of 0.05 as a threshold to declare a result to be statistically significant, we are saying that of the 800 false hypotheses, 5% of them will be false positives in this box, which is 40, and the remaining 760 are left here in a true negative box. If publication-wise didn't exist, we could imagine that all 1,000 of those trials get published. This results in 920 true published research findings and 80 false published research findings. So if we ignore publication bias, systematic bias, and conflicts of interest, and only consider statistically predictable error, approximately 92% of published research findings would be true. That probably feels pretty reasonable. But now let's consider the effects of publication bias. Negative trials are much more difficult to publish. If every positive trial is published, but only 10% of the negative trials are, which is going to be a generous estimate, then the published literature ends up with 162 positive trials, 40 false positive trials, 4 false negative trials, and 76 true negative trials. This results in 84% of published trials being true. Publication bias worsens the accuracy of published trials because trials showing benefits are both more likely to be published and more likely to be wrong than trials showing no benefits. Let's add in systematic bias. Systematic bias can take many forms, but I'm going to just incorporate one of the most tangible, underpowering of a study. Remember that I said in an optimally designed trial we want there to be no more than a 20% chance that a beneficial therapy is not recognized as being beneficial. In an underpowered study, this number is greater than 20%. This can happen either because the sample size is too small, or because the size of the effect that investigators are trying to measure is too small. So what if this number is actually 50%? We can see how all the numbers shift. Now there are 100 true positives and 100 false negatives. Keeping the same degree of publication bias, the overall rate of true published research findings drops to 78%. And finally, we have conflicts of interest. How would conflicts of interest play a role? Well, for one, researchers get more immediate interest and a higher probability of publication into a high-impact journal, the more paradigm-shifting a positive trial appears to be. So they test particularly unlikely hypotheses. This means that the expected chance that the hypothesis is true before the trial drops lower than 20%. So what if it's 5% instead, with the same p-value cutoff of 0.05 and the same degree of underpowered? That gives us 25 true positive findings, 25 false negative findings, 48 false positive findings, and 902 true negative findings. If we have the same degree of publication bias, we now have an overall rate of true published findings of 69%. 69% is pretty low, but of course it's not less than 50, which was my initial claim at the very beginning of the video, and which empiric evidence seems to support. However, there are a few more things to consider. First, while this brief analysis considered underpowering of the trial, it did not account for other forms of systematic bias, such as imperfect randomization, lack of a true control, unexplained differences in the dropout rate between the intervention and control groups, whether an objective endpoint was used, and how much the blinding of patients and investigators was. The analysis didn't account for p-hacking, or trial authors who test 20 hypotheses in post-hoc analysis, but only report the one that was statistically significant. It doesn't account for deliberate fraud. And most importantly, it was assumed that hypothetical studies we were considering were randomized controlled trials, which in general are the most methodologically sound of medical studies, but which comprise only a small part of the medical literature. If all these other factors could be accounted for, and there are scientists whose field of study is trying to do just that, then that 69% would almost certainly dip below 50. For any viewers interested in a more mathematically rigorous discussion of these events, I highly recommend the seminal paper, Why Most Published Findings Are False, by John Ioannidis, who also authored several other of the gain prevention studies. A free open access link to this paper is in the video description. Now, let's talk solutions. How can we improve the quality and reliability of published medical research and of medical science more generally? There should be more public funding of research compared to private funding. This isn't to say that private companies can't pay for their own studies. Of course they should be able to do so. But to help reduce conflicts of interest, the balance should tip the other direction. Academic institutions should stop evaluating the volume of publications during deliberations about an individual's academic promotion and should solely focus on the quality of their scientific contributions. Journals should be further encouraged to publish negative trials and replication studies. In fact, there exists a journal dedicated to the publication of negative results, descriptively called the Journal of Negative Results in Biomedicine. Its goal is providing scientists and physicians with responsible and balanced information to support informed experimental and clinical decisions. We need more of that mentality. Journals should require open access to the complete methods and all data that plan on paper publication. This will allow the public to double-check the work of the authors, to monitor for data dredging, and to make it easier for other researchers to attempt replication studies. I didn't even discuss this video, the observation that a surprisingly high number of published papers contain simple math errors missed by our core peer review process. These are hard to catch if the full data is not made available to the public. Results of all publicly funded clinical trials should be easily available, irrespective of whether the trial ever gets published. Widespread established practices, which have not been rigorously tested in a large randomized controlled trial, should be. Remember back to when I discussed the phenomenon of medical reversal? When established practices are rigorously tested by better methodology than they were originally, less than half of these practices were confirmed to be beneficial. The media. The media needs to be incentivized to conduct better health reporting. No more reporting on tiny hypothesis-generated studies, and no more focus on those studies which inspire sensationalistic headlines but are without substance. And the news media needs actual doctors on their payroll to fact-check the press releases which currently serve as a major source of their information. Finally, and most relevant to my work as a medical educator, we need better instruction in med school and residency as to how to appraise the medical literature. We sort of teach evidence-based medicine to trainees currently, but I can't help but think medical educators have done them a disservice by doing an incomplete job. Too many junior doctors are led to believe that practicing evidence-based medicine is about quoting the latest studies and remembering catchy trial acronyms. Compared to prior generations of doctors, we've gone from trusting in our gut over the evidence to trusting the evidence without critically appraising it. And I don't think that's an improvement. Those of us in medical education need to take this problem seriously. Appraising clinical papers and research methods should not be topics squeezed into the curriculum in random places wherever there's room. Instead, this needs to be fully integrated into everything that we teach. Understanding how we know something is just as important as understanding what it is we think we know. Will these solutions eliminate false conclusions in the literature and the misapplication of research in clinical practice? No. There will always be a non-negligible rate of false findings in the published medical literature. But these ideas will make the number of false findings as low as possible, will help doctors better apply the medical literature, and ultimately help to improve the faith our patients have in medical science. I hope you enjoyed this discussion as to why most published research findings are false. If so, please remember to like and share the video, and consider becoming a subscriber if you aren't already. I've listed a bunch of relevant papers and other resources in the video description for those of you who want to learn more about this important and fascinating topic. Although this video is not sponsored, I still want to specifically recommend a wonderful book called Ending Medical Reversal by Vinay Prasad and Adam Sifu. It discusses many of the same issues that are raised in this video, and along with the 8 mentioned papers by John Ioannidis, were the major inspirations for me tackling these topics to begin with, and I call those guys some thanks, I think, for making me more skeptical of what it is I do every day. I'll be talking about the issues and misconceptions regarding the most basic of physical findings. What is a normal heart rate? That is, the number of times per minute that your heart contracts, pushes blood through the body, and generates a pulse. Now, if you're thinking, everyone knows it's 60 to 100, what's the big deal? Well, you may be right that everyone knows it, but the problem is that everyone is also wrong. When talking about what constitutes a normal heart rate, there are a couple things I need to clarify. First, I'm referring to a normal resting heart rate. The resting heart rate is the rate you experience when you've been sitting or lying still for several minutes with no significant physical activity beyond breathing. At the other end of the heart rate spectrum does exist something called the maximum predicted heart rate, which, as the name implies, is the fastest rate your heart can achieve during the most strenuous activity your body can perform. The commonly cited equation for predicting the maximum heart rate of a person is 220 minus their age in years. Unfortunately, while simple to remember and even more simple to apply, most exercise physiologists feel it's too inaccurate, and there are many attempts to better refine it. But for today, we'll be focusing on the heart rate at rest. The next thing to clarify is the age of the person we're talking about. Just as age impacts the maximum predicted rate, it also impacts the resting rate. Specifically, children have faster rates than adults, and infants have faster rates than children. In fact, the age at which the resting heart rate is the fastest, 9 to 10 weeks after conception, when the average rate tops out at around 170 to 180 beats per minute. Over the next several weeks, the rate slows down just a little until settling out somewhere between 120 and 160.